Hello and welcome to another episode of Put Me in Coach on episode 116, Diamondbacks versus Padres, Game 4. Lineup of today, Perdomo was actually the first one on top. Mostly it was actually Carroll a lot on the first, but fortunately enough, Perdomo is on the top, playing shortstop. Gabe Moreno playing catcher, Kento Marte playing second base, Lard Newbar at DH, Nolan Arenado at third base, Max Kempler at left field, Tim Tawa at first base, and I think in the rest is pretty much the same. I think there was a lot of hits. The only people did not get a base hit is pretty much Perdomo, Nolan Arenado, and Ryan Wolfsmith. But the rest pretty got one hit. I guess Gabe Moreno did a pretty good job enough. He went 3 for 4 and stuff, so that's pretty good for that. Yeah, not a whole lot to it, but it's good overall. I think there's a positive in there as well, but fortunately enough, it was not enough because fortunately enough we didn't win this game. Starting pitcher for the Diamondbacks, Cole Drake. He went 4 innings, gave up 6 hits. 6 hits, struck out once, walked once, and gave up 3 runs. So, yeah, not a whole good start. It's weird because we were going, back and forth with the Padres overall, and I don't think he was more focused on this game at all. But did his best. That's what we gotta just do and stuff. So that's that. And then the starting pitcher for the Padres was Walker Buehler. He went 4 innings, gave up 6 hits, struck out 3, walked once, and gave up only 1 run. So overall, both of them are a very good match together and stuff. I thought we were going to do more damage, but fortunately enough, he just didn't give up many runs than what Cole Drake did. So yeah, it was here and there and stuff. I thought we were going to do good because last time we did really good on Bueller. Fortunately enough, today he just did a lot better. And then the bullpen for the Diamondbacks, Jonathan Liskia, Philip Abner, and Juan Morello. And that's pretty much it and stuff. Abner gave up 2 runs later on and stuff. I think he's getting the fresh start in a way of enough. He just got back to the major league, to the minors, so it's a little tough here and there and stuff. So maybe he just need to get a little step back and get back into it and stuff. And then we're gonna go scoring. Fortunately enough, not a whole lot, but I gave out the boring stuff. So there's only 3 things we can literally talk about, and fortunately enough, they are boring because the rest of them are just singles in a way. But fortunately enough, this is what we need to do because how enough of we can talk about the scoring and stuff. So that's that. Gabe Moreno with the RBI single to make it 1-3, bottom of the third. Freddie Freeman with a RBI single to make it 4-1, top of the sixth. And then Jackson Morrell with a RBI single to make it 5-1, top of the seventh. That is the final score, 1-5, Diamondbacks loss. Their record now is 61-55. We're kind of going downhill at this point where enough of the Phillies keep going back and forth with us in the wild card spot. So now we are 1 down than the Phillies. Fortunately enough, that's not really good. And also enough, we did not win the series over the Padres in this series. Fortunately enough, we did split. I wanted this win just because it's crazy enough to think about enough of all the time enough when the Padres are playing the Diamondbacks. We've been playing 2 or 4 series games, and the first game we played the Padres, it was in Mexico, and there was only 2 games, and we also split that game as well. And then our second series was a 4-game series, and we split that. And then this is our third series playing with the Padres, and also a 4 series and split. So pretty much good amount of the splits we done is absolutely insane. Like, I thinking we did 3 splits with the Padres, we did 1 with the Braves, and I thinking we did 1 with the Dodgers. So it's kind of crazy how you think about enough of. We actually did win 1 series, and that was with the Rockies, and we beat them 3-1 uh, out of 4 games and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about that in a way. Like, thinking of like 5 splits, it's kind of insane to think about that. Or is 6? I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about that. Progress. I just thinking we just need to keep going. It's weird enough of when people are hot and cold here and there, where enough of like, Perdomo has like having a good series overall, like from other days, and then he just went cold in this game. Um, and crazy enough of for Gabe Marino from yesterday game, he went 0 for something, and then today he's hitting. So again, to me, of enough of it just depends enough of who's pitching and who's at the plate, and stuff. So it's just overall, and then that I thinking, if we're just gonna more damage than the pitchers we are going to face every single time, and so learn from them overall, look at their weakness and their strength, work on that, do your homework, all these typical things. We gotta understand of enough of how we can capitalize on these pitchers while we're batting, and these are just little like details enough of to how we can progress on them and make them struggle, and how we can actually progress this team to win games. So just a little here and there and stuff, because you know currently enough just saying them out enough to say enough batting practice. Well, there's a lot more to enough just saying batting practice. There's more to of it and stuff. So it's just a little here and there stuff gotta really work on. That's what my opinion, and I would actually work a different way in batting practice. Just generally just swinging a bat and hitting a ball and stuff. Just work on little things here and there. Trying to make sure enough don't hit too right to the player, because that's easy for them. You could just get it easy out and that and stuff. Hit away from them. Learn from the speed. Just all these things you gotta really think about enough, and have timing as well. I think that's another big thing about enough of, if you're late, then you're late. If you're early, don't be too early and stuff. But if you're right on time, and if you put on a good swing, the ball is going to fly, and you're putting more contact, and a possibility enough of you're going to get a ground out, fly out, or a base hit. So those are the things you got enough to realize, because I've just been realizing enough of like the team, just like this person's been hot, then the next day they're cold, and then the next day they're cold, and then the other day they're hot. It's just like, it's just weird enough of not everybody on the Diamondbacks of batting is consistent every single time. It's a little all over the place, and I don't know they have the right rhythm to keep going and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It's just like I wish everybody does good, but I guess you cannot. It's hard to be consistent every single day. So I think that's a hard thing. But the only thing I would absolutely say, just do your best. And then pitching wise of enough, I think Koldrick needs to keep working on it and stuff. Maybe get some tips from Mitch Bratt, because Mitch Bratt did good yesterday. So fortunately enough, learn from your mistakes and just go out there and do your best again and stuff. That's pretty much it overall. We lost. There's no MVP, so that's pretty much of that. Yeah, it sucks enough to go for and literally split the series with the Padres and stuff. Overall, we're better over them. They're kind of sneaky into the division over us and stuff, so we got to really be careful of it. And also, we're playing the Dodgers for the next series, and the game is actually happening right now because I'm already late to this. So fortunately enough, hopefully we can do good for against the Dodgers, and hopefully, last time we played the Dodgers, we swept them, and that was the end of the first half. So this is the second half, and they're not doing so well. So hopefully we can get some advantage, and maybe get some Tim Tebow love, because last time enough, Tim Tebow was just dominating on the Dodgers. So maybe Tim Tebow can learn from that, and honestly enough to progress on that. So hopefully we can see that. But that's pretty much of that. Hopefully you guys enjoy this episode. Have a great day, and thank you for watching.